My name is Gbadebo, and the pronunciation was good. And that is a great privilege for this opportunity to present Nonga Food Bank and what Nonga Food Bank is doing to enhance sustainability in the food systems. So, and it's also important to present it within the scope of looking at the food systems, not just within the private sector or the business perspective, but also looking at the missing puzzle or the role that charity organizations or non-profit organizations play, especially within the context of the presentation within the context of earlier presentations focusing on how to reduce hunger, how to make the food systems more sustainable, but at the same time, reducing waste, reducing loss, and enhancing resilience within the food system. So, and that's where No Hunger Food Bank comes in, as a non-profit, as a charity organization, as an organization that helps to reduce hunger and contribute towards one of the vital goals of the UN Sustainable Development Agenda, which is UNSDG 2, the reducing hunger or achieving zero hunger. So the presentation is within this outline, introducing what we do and presenting our organizational governance framework. Because as a nonprofit, one of the effective approaches to enhancing financing strategies and making financing of non-profits, especially in the food space, to be more sustainable is through the systems put in place by the non-profit organization. So that makes organizational governance very key, which is what this presentation will be adding to the whole discussion for today, and also looking at it from the perspective of fiscal transparency and tying that with what Nonga Food Bank does in order to enhance the financing of its programs towards ensuring that it reduces hunger and eliminates malnutrition, wasting among vulnerable populations, especially internally displaced people in Africa, specifically Nigeria. So basically the next slide basically tells us what approach, the integrated approach of Non Food Bank as an organization, and how is using that approach, or how is leveraging that approach to reduce hunger and malnutrition. And that is based on its three major pillars. We've got the pillar of food banking as a mechanism or as a tool for reducing hunger and enhancing sustainability within the food system. Empowerment, which is also very key, that's empowerment of the targeted clientele of Nonga Food Bank, mostly vulnerable people. Then the policy support perspective to it. So those three pillars are really the critical drivers that help in reducing food and nutritional security, also at the same time creating job and enhancing well-being. That's health, enhancing our health system in Nigeria, in Africa, and in the world, if we may put it like that. And what makes this really important is the multiple role that a food banking tool or the mechanism could play in reducing hunger, and at the same time helping to reduce food loss, reduce food waste within our food system, thereby making it more sustainable. Before I present the organizational governance that helps to contribute to food, to sustainability in food system, it's also good to say a couple of words about the programs that we embark upon as an organization. If you visit the Nonga Food Bank website, which is basically nongafoodbank.org, we've got a number of programs that help us to drive these three pillars. And some of these programs include the temporary food assistance program, which basically provide food and essential nutritional meals to the vulnerable population, which is also like a hunger relief intervention for the vulnerable communities. And we also have a program that is referred to as a school school meal program, which is basically which is double or is combining two interventions because it's promoting children, enhancing children schooling at the same time, incentivizing children to go to school and enhance their educational developments. So most of our programs they cut across children, enhancing, reducing malnutrition, wasting among children, among mothers, among the vulnerable population, and also the elderly population. So these programs, I will just mention them quickly. Nutritional meals for targeted students, community breakfast program, school bag program. There's another one we call disaster strikes. And why disaster strikes? You all agree with me that there's no better time to have innovative programs to reduce hunger and achieve the sustainable development goal too, other than this post-pandemic period. We know that the COVID-19 pandemic has actually created more health inequities and food inequities among vulnerable populations, among underserved populations, and No Hunger Food Bank is responding to this program is responding to these challenges through its innovative programs, and not just using it to respond to the challenges that hungry people face in Africa, but looking at it within the scope of sustainability of our food systems. So in that regard, I present our organizational governance that helps us to enhance transparency, accountability, as well as sustainability in our programs. Because we believe that once we enhance sustainability, accountability, and transparency in what we do, and if this is scaled across all organizations, especially charity organizations, it will definitely contribute to enhancing sustainability along the food space. So we've got our executive board members, which I would not want to read their names, but what their roles and contributions are. They are really very important in helping us to enhance sustainability of our programs and the transparency of what we do, and also helping us to report back to how we generate financing, just like every other charity organization, and how we're able to sustain what we do, which is how the sustainability component comes in. And we also have an advisory team in addition to the board members, which are basically executive. The advisory team helps also guide our programs and enhance the innovation as well as the inclusiveness in the programs that we implement, just like the programs I presented earlier on, the programs I highlighted earlier on. And the organizational governance do not just exist as in silo, as in maybe we just have them, but there are responsibilities that are expected to play. There are certain procedures that guide what they do and what they are not expected to do, and which also build in and dovetail into the activities and the programs that No Hunger Food Bank implements. And I also as a non-profit organization, we don't operate just as a non-profit or in the non-profit space, but we operate across the community, because No Hunger Food Bank is a community-driven, and within a community, as a community-driven intervention, is only able to operate sustainably based on its communication and engagement with all the community members, the private sector, the research organizations, the university, the government, and we see it in a couple of slides, how we connect with other government agencies as well as all other enterprises within our communities in order to sustain what we do and deliver on our expectations, as well as deliver on our programs to our targeted audience. We also know that research is very key in what we do, and we've got researchers aboard that help in collecting data to inform and to inform the sustainability and the innovativeness in the programs that we implement. And these are the board of researchers we have aboard. And that also relates to what IntelliDigest does, and the goal of IntelliDigest in enhancing agripreneurship from a digital tech perspective. And these youths, these researchers we have aboard, they are mostly graduates, and they help us in collecting data. They help us in looking at digital tools, technological tools, how artificial intelligence could help in enhancing sustainability of the organization, as well as enhancing sustainability across the value chain actors within the specific commodity value chain. And they also contribute to all our publications, like our newsletters, our blog series, and as well as other publications that we do that require data. So we've got the researchers about that get that done. And that most of them are also volunteers. It's important for us to know that they are volunteers. So the question now is, if they are volunteers, is that sustainable enough, or would that be like that into the future? I would say yes and no. No organizations such as non-profit organizations such as Non-Hunger Food Bank rely so much on volunteering, and that doesn't mean that they are not being incentivized. If we involve them in programs like IntelliDigest forthcoming programs on agripreneurship, on agrotechpreneurship programs. We engage them with that. We open them to a lot of opportunities to help them launch their careers, so that they are not just within Non-Hunger Food Bank system, but to help them connect with other programs, even like the EIT food. When the time comes when EIT food launches in Africa, we would like to engage them so that they'll be able to connect with the HEI program that EIT food presented in a few minutes ago. And another program we also engage them with is the recent funding that the Non-Hunger Food Bank got from the U.S. Embassy in Abuja, Nigeria, and that funding is based on is called the Ambassadors Funding Program for Indigenous Community. And the program was basically to enhance the capacities of indigenous women in Nigeria, specifically in Kwara State, to enhance their productivity in the cassava value chain and also double their income. So is helping to see the sustainability component of what we do and looking at it from the entrepreneurial perspective. So that's part of the work that we do that helps us to enhance sustainability within what we do. So I was saying earlier on that Non-Hunger Food Bank operates within the community, and there are government agencies that we collaborate with, that we discuss with, to help to accelerate what we do, to help to leverage on what we have currently, and to help to deliver on the programs we've got. So most of those ministries they are right on the slide, as you can see them. And in addition to that is the fact that we also connect with other partners that are at the continental and global level. A food bank as a paradigm or as a model is got a global body, or a global partner that oversees and empowers and strengthens the capacities of other food banks across the world. And that's a global organization, is the Global Food Banking Network, which is based in Chicago. And we collaborate with them. They're one of our partners, and it helps us to also enhance the sustainability in the programs that we deliver and in meeting the needs of our targeted clientele. Collecting this also relates to what we call the fiscal transparency in what we do in terms of what we have on ground, the workers the people that work with us, and the systems available within the government that help to make sustainability happen as an organization or as a non-profit. So some of the participants will know that before you register a non-profit or an NGO, as it's called in Nigeria, there are a series of steps. There are a series of procedures that you need to undertake that help to strengthen the systems and make it more sustainable and make it more impactful for the vulnerable communities, especially as hunger is really eating deep, and hunger is even causing more humanitarian crisis with the flooding that happened that occurred last month and affecting food systems in Nigeria, in West African countries. So the fiscal transparency systems put in place by the government has also helped us to solidify what Nonga Food Bank does, and also to attract our partners, to attract our strategic alliances, not only within the country but also outside the country. And the last slide I will present is how do we get the financing how do we get the financing of Nonga Food Bank? Of course, we rely so much on donors, we rely so much on our community members, how they provide financing. But the question is this sustainable? How do we enhance sustainability in financing of the food system generally? But also, how do we enhance financing of non governmental organizations or charity organizations that are helping to fix the missing puzzle within a food system? And that's where Nonga Food Bank comes in. What we do, we connect with all, you can see, we connect with all organizations, enterprises, banks, especially today being International Day for Banks. So we connect with banks, we connect with farmers, we connect with farmers organizations, just like Angus' presentation, which was very brilliant. We connect with all of them to tell them what we do and to help them to reduce food waste. And by the mere fact of them reducing food waste, and it helps us to have enough resources to provide to our targeted clientele. But at the same time, it also helps them to contribute to reduction in or being aware of climate change and contribute to the problem and contribute to the reduction in the problems are caused by climate change. Because one good implication of that is increasing role of what is called food rescue. So we meet with all these organizations, especially grocery organizations, other organizations that are in the food value chain, and see how we could help them to use our tools, technological tools, digital tools being developed to help in reducing food rescue. So we have a food rescue department that is really vibrant, that's helping to connect with that, connecting with Jumia, connecting with other restaurants, because there's a lot of waste that is being that occur, a lot of ways that occurs in restaurants in across the increasing number of enterprises, especially food waste. So we have a department on the food rescue that help to reduce that problem. And so the sustainability part of reducing that problem is getting that problem to meet the needs of increasing hungry population and malnourished children. It's on that basis I wrap up to my presentation, and thank